Welcome to StudioCloud's tutorial on lead tracking. This tutorial is broken down into the following 4 sections: the different types of clients that exist in StudioCloud, what is a lead pipeline, examples of various lead pipelines, how to set up a lead pipeline. First off, the different types of clients. A lead is a potential client that you are actively working with to convert to being a paying customer. A client is a paying customer. A prospective client is a client that you are not actively working with but may market to in the future. The way that different types of clients work together is as follows. If you schedule a lead for a session, they are automatically converted to a client by StudioCloud. If a lead is not interested in your services at this time but may be interested in the future, you would convert them to a prospective client. If the lead is not interested at all, then you would archive them. What is a lead pipeline? A lead pipeline tracks the status of your follow-up with a potential client and makes everything happen with just a few clicks. I'm going to step through a few examples of using a lead pipeline to work directly with potential clients. First off, let's start with creating a new lead. We've made contact with Marianne Hale. Here's the pipeline, shows you here, that's automatically set up to call in 24 hours or less. So we can click on that and see all the steps. So the first stage is to call in 24 hours or less, then call in 3 days, call in 7 days, and then they'll be marked as not interested, market to later, or do not market to later. So you can see here, if we go over to all clients and we search for Marianne, here's Marianne Hale. Next we'll go to the lead tracking tab. Here we see all of the leads that we're currently with and what their status is. Here we can find Marianne Hale, whose pipeline stage is call in 24 hours or less. The first step is to mark this stage as complete. Let's say that we've given her a call, but she didn't answer, so we leave a voicemail. So the first step is to come over here after we've called this lead and mark the first stage as complete, saying that we have called them in 24 hours or less. Here you can see that this opened up an email window. So we've already set up an email template to be sent out when we mark that stage complete. And you could just come here and click send email to send that out. So that's how we set up a lead pipeline to market to a client with phone calls over a series of days. Next, let's look at an example where we market to a lead or we contact a lead using scheduled messages. So let's go back to clients. Click new lead. This time we're going to contact Gavin Guthrie. Gavin Guthrie. We'll say it's gguthrie@gmail.com. So you can see here that the first stage is to email client. And when we did that, you saw a pop-up right down here that said a scheduled message had been set to send to Gavin Guthrie. In this example, the lead is marketed to over time using a group of scheduled emails. The scheduled emails are set up to automatically stop sending as soon as the pipeline is marked completed. In addition, if the last scheduled email is sent, it is assumed the lead isn't interested at this time, and as such, the lead will automatically be converted to a prospective client, and the lead pipeline will be marked completed. While we won't be covering it in this tutorial, you should know that you can integrate a lead pipeline with a cloud form. So when a client fills out the cloud form, it will automatically set up scheduled emails to email the potential client over time. This is an ideal marketing option if you are at an event where clients fill out a form on an iPad or tablet. The scheduled messages could potentially include an online booking link in it, and you can have emails automatically sent over the next month to try and convert them into paying customers. The same steps could be done from your website as well. Now that we've seen the pipelines in action, let's actually take a look at how to set up a pipeline. Settings. This is in the Clients section, Settings. Manage Lead Pipelines. New Lead Pipeline. Here there's a few examples. You can start with a blank pipeline, an email-focused lead pipeline, or a call-focused lead pipeline. For this example, let's go ahead and set up a call-focused lead pipeline. You can see here you have a name. You can adjust this as needed. You can set it up as the default pipeline for new leads. That means anytime you create a new lead in the system, it will automatically assign this pipeline to them. Here you can see you can assign an employee to the lead, and here's an option for a hidden pipeline. A hidden pipeline is a pipeline that isn't typically displayed but can be switched to between pipelines. This is ideal for seasonal pipelines. And here you can see the different stages that we have set up. On the right-hand side here, you can see that there's a summary of all the actions that are going to take place with each stage. To edit a pipeline stage, you would just do the following steps. You click the edit icon. You can come in here. You can change the stage name. You can set it as you can set the pipeline stage deadline when this stage is due. You can mark it as a hidden pipeline stage. These are the actions that you want to take effect when the pipeline stage becomes active. A pipeline stage can become active because the previous pipeline stage has been completed, or the previous pipeline stage has been skipped, or you have marked it as the active stage. You can send an email to a client, send a text message to a client. You can send an email text message to the employee assigned to the overall pipeline, or you can assign an employee to the overall pipeline. You can also, when it becomes active, change the pipeline to a different pipeline. Here you can see the actions that can be taken when the pipeline stage is marked completed. First off is to mark the entire pipeline completed when the pipeline stage is completed. This is typically the last step in the pipeline. That's just to make sure that you close it out and you don't have a whole bunch of pipelines just sitting there waiting for your employees to look through these. You can send an email to the client, send a text message, archive the client when the pipeline stage is completed. You can convert a lead to a prospective client when the pipeline stage is completed. This is the scenario that we talked about previously where you've tried to market to a client but they aren't interested. You would set that up with that final stage, or convert to the client when the pipeline stage is completed. This is the other scenario where you've marketed to the client, they're interested in coming in and meeting with you, and so you want them to become a client rather than a lead. There's also options for assigning employees to the stage and emailing or text messaging. The last tab here is the scheduled messages. Here you can set up email or text messages to be sent out automatically. Now that we've looked at a call-focused pipeline, let's go and take a look at an email-focused pipeline. So again, we'll click New Lead Pipeline, and this time we'll click Email Focused Lead Pipeline. Many of the things are exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this first stage, Email Client. We're going to add in a few scheduled messages. So we can email the client, we can email the employee assigned to the overall pipeline, or email the employee assigned to the pipeline stage. We can set when we want it to be sent, months, weeks, days, hours, or minutes after the pipeline stage becomes active. And for days, weeks, and months, we can actually set the time of day that we want it to be sent out. You can't do that for minutes or hours because if you're creating the pipeline at 8 a.m. and you want it to be sent out at 7:30 a.m., that's not going to work. So you would just set 2 hours in advance. This option here is very important. Cancel email if unsent when stage is completed. This checkbox will automatically cancel the scheduled message if the client is scheduled on the calendar or if the client is not interested. And this checkbox here is convert to prospective client and close pipeline when message sent. This will automatically convert the lead to a prospective client and mark the lead pipeline as completed when the scheduled email is sent. And then finally, you can see over here, you can select the email account you want it sent from, and you can select the email template. So let's say that we want the initial email contact with lead. So we'll come here and click select and click scheduled email. You can set up as many scheduled emails or scheduled text messages as you need. This one will go out a day after the pipeline stage is activated, which if it's the default lead pipeline will go out a day after the lead is created. Next, let's say that we want to send a follow-up 3 days later. So we can come in here, 3 days after pipeline stage is activated, email client, select email template, new lead follow-up, 3 days. Schedule email. That's a brief look at how to set up a lead pipeline and scheduled emails in StudioCloud.